So hey guys, I thought I'd just give you a couple updates on some things. Been a little slow getting videos out. Sort of, it's been kind of slow as we moved up to this point, and then also it's like hurry up, go, go, go. And now we've just been so busy. And then there's been a lot of different projects going on around here that I don't know if they really deserve like a whole video type related thing. So I thought this video would just be a little bit of an update on some different things. First thing I wanted to address is I know last video I got an opportunity to meet Upgrade Doug and Stacy, or Doug I guess from that channel. Unfortunately, it would have been fantastic if we could have met Stacy, but that just didn't work out. But Doug had sent a bunch of people over here to come check things out, and I really wanted to open up I guess a welcome to everyone that has showed up and say thank you for coming over and checking things out. And then a real special thank you to all you guys that have been around for a long time here on this channel. Really means a lot to me. I think we have a fantastic community here, a lot of great people, all different walks of life, and everyone seems to get along really well over here. A lot of great ideas and information shared in the comments, and really appreciate it. So I wanted to start off and say thank you to all you guys. So some of the stuff that's been going on around here. Been doing garden stuff obviously last weekend. Finished up getting everything wrapped in. I want to go out and give you guys a little garden tour, some things that are going in, some things that we're going to try this year. I feel like this year is going to be a little bit of a struggle. We've had a couple little bumps in the road already. Had some pretty cold weather here actually. Even last week we had the wood stove running a couple nights there just to take the chill out of the air. But also it feels like we've kind of broken through, and now things just feel like we're cooking. I'm sure a lot of you guys down south are like, oh, that's a amateur hour over there. But we've been getting into the 80s and stuff. It's been feeling a little bit humid, and I think the plants are really going to start popping out of the ground here pretty quick. But right now, the only thing that's really sticking out are some of the root crops that we planted earlier in the season, things like our onions and garlic and potatoes and a handful of those type things. So as some more things come out of the ground, we'll do a little update on some of that stuff. I know some of you guys have been asking a little bit about firewood related stuff. I'm planning on getting out and start working on getting some of the wood piles. I've been slowly poking away at it here and there. Had a little bit of trouble here with the wood truck here. I'm not really quite sure if it's a battery issue or if it's something related to maybe a relay switch or a solenoid in the starter. I think I have it narrowed down. Today my plan is to go out and get some of that addressed, and then I'll put together sort of a full formal video on my troubleshooting process through that and take you guys along on some of that once I kind of get all that figured out. But I think I have it narrowed down pretty well here, but we'll see. And then we'll start getting out and getting some firewood stuff going, and we'll get some of those videos cranked out. I know a lot of you guys have been kind of hinting at that and commenting related to some of that stuff. If you guys aren't aware, in every video description there's always a sort of a channel survey down there where you can provide channel feedback, suggest video topics, and a lot of times I look at that quite often and look at what the mass majority of people are requesting and then try to address some of those things. So if you haven't done that, definitely do so, and you can always go back and do it several times, and it's an opportunity. You stay anonymous, so you can be pretty blunt and brutal in the comments if you wanted to, and suggest some different things. So yeah, see what else. We've been doing a lot of the wild asparagus hunting still. I think that's starting to wrap up here. We were out up north trying to get the cabin opened up and stuff for the year. A lot of you guys were asking about if we do any mushroom hunting or look for fiddlehead ferns. We do. We haven't really had a lot of luck. However, the other day we were out wandering through the woods and I found this huge patch of the fiddlehead ferns. Unfortunately, they had unraveled at that point, and we're past like the harvesting stage. But I now know where they are, so next year I'll be able to go out there and potentially harvest them. I'm 99.9% sure that those are them. They got the deep V, and a lot of the features all look to be there, but I'll find out next year looking at that. So I'm excited about finding that for next year. Wild asparagus, have been out hunting and doing some of that stuff here lately. Let's see what else. Haven't found any mushrooms. Tick season has been in full force here this year. They've been really bad. I don't think we had too bad of a winter, but the ticks have been out thick this year. When we were out looking for some of those items, my wife, we weren't even out there that long. My wife ended up pulling like 25 of them off for her. When we came back, I pulled off probably 15 or something. Grace probably pulled a dozen off of her.
How many did you end up pulling off for yourself?
At least 15. I didn't get everywhere yet. They were on my top of my shoes. They're probably up my leg.
Rip the legs off these guys. That way they're worthless next time.
This is the time of year we start switching things up, or we start showering in the evening, because then it gives us a chance to look ourselves over before getting in the shower and finding them before they have a chance to attach. Of course, there's always a lot of risks that go along with that, you know, Lyme's disease. There's another one they've been talking about this year. It's not new, but it's been coming back again, where apparently the tick that's been attached doesn't have to be attached that long, and it could cause some real issues. So definitely, if you're someone that spends some time outside, take the needed precautions and make sure you check yourself over really well. So that's some of the stuff that's been going on with that. Been out doing quite a bit of pan fishing. This is a great time of year for that. It's been really warm out, or just starting to warm up here. So the fish haven't quite moved out to the deeper water yet. So the bank fishing has been really nice. And then if you get out in the boat, the pan fish have just, we love pan fishing, I guess I should say. It's always fun, fast action. There's a lot of good eats that come along with that. It's fun excitement for the kids. You know, Grace just loves it because there's always action pulling fish out. So we do a lot of pan fishing, especially at this time of the year. We've been getting a lot of stuff in the freezer here. Back to the garden stuff really quick. One other thing we are going to try this year is we're going to try selling some items. Generally, everything we've done in the past, we've always saved for ourselves, or use it for sort of a bartering thing. Maybe we trade with a neighbor on something else. So this year we are going to try selling some things, and I'm guessing there's going to be some learning curves that go with it. I don't want to go spend every weekend sitting at a farmer's market. We have one neighbor that does that, and he makes a pretty decent amount of money in the summer. But like, I think 2 or 3 times a week, he sits down at the farmer's market for several hours trying to sell stuff. And I'd like to try to figure out items that we can sell relatively quickly. I think there's going to be a learning curve on trying to figure out how much to bring at a certain time. How much can we sell in a single day in the amount of time that we want to spend down there. And then take that money and dump it back into the garden next year. Every year we put about $100 into our garden. We buy certain seeds as we're trying to figure out the crops that we like the most and narrow them down. There's definitely ones that we don't carry over every year. Like, I think last year was one of our worst years on harvesting seeds. We're trying out a couple different varieties of sweet corn. Of course, we're growing them pretty close together. They're cross-pollinating. And then you don't know what you're going to end up with the following year, so then we end up just restarting over with certain seeds. But then there are some that we carry over every year: our sunflowers, our sugar snap peas. There's just certain crops that we know that we like and we always want out of the garden. So one last little thing I wanted to share with you guys. I know some of you guys are like, oh geez, here we go. We've been changing up our diet here a little bit. I've always felt like we've eaten pretty healthy. We eat quite a bit out of our garden every year, but there are definitely things that we buy from the store. There's definitely times we're in town, we want to get a bite to eat. But we've been doing this thing, it's called like the Whole 30 diet or the Whole 30 plan. And the main intention is not to lose weight. However, a lot of people do lose weight doing this. But basically what you do is you remove grains, you remove dairy, you remove legumes besides like green beans, sugar snap peas, you remove a lot of preservatives, basically any processed type sugar out of your diet. And you do that for 30 days, and then you slowly start introducing things back in. So it helps you figure out if you have any gluten issues, helps you figure out if you have any lactose type troubles. I've always felt very fortunate in this area. I'm like, I don't have any of that stuff, but I'll tell you what, the 1 week that we've been on this diet here, I noticed a tremendous difference in like just the clarity of my mind, my mood swings. If I'm out and frustrated with something, I don't get crabby as easy. My mood just seems to be a lot more stable. My sleep pattern has changed. I've been sleeping a lot better. I feel way better. There's a lot more energy. There's just been a lot of good things that have come out of this. It's also been a very eye-opening thing. So like last weekend when we went down and met up with Doug, we were down there, we hadn't eaten. It was like right at that lunchtime, so we're like, well, let's stop and get something on the way home. So we started thinking, well, what could we get that we're, while we're out here? What's something healthy? Usually you think something like a Subway or something like that. And we started looking at the menu, and it's like, well, we can't have any of this meat because it's got all these preservatives in it. It's got all this sugar added to it. You can't have any grains, so it kind of takes the bread and the dairy side of stuff out of it. So when it's all said and done, it's like the only thing you can have off there is pretty much greens, lettuce type stuff, and then you can't really have any of their salad dressing because it's not compliant with that stuff. So we've been eating a lot of real fresh veggie type stuff, and it seems like a good fit right now as we're just moving into the garden season because we'll be able to eat a lot of that stuff. It's been very eye-opening, a little frustrating at times because we've just been looking at every single label to try to make sure it's within compliance. And now seems like a good time to try something like this if you're thinking about it. I've heard a lot of people have, really been able to deal with like anxiety and depression type stuff just by changing their diet drastically with something like this. And of course, there's like type 2 diabetes and a lot of different things like that something like this could, I'm not a medical guy, but I really think changing to something like this could really have some pretty big impact and potentially drastically change your things without just putting another band-aid on it. It was kind of interesting. We just recently saw this documentary, and it was talking about the changes in our food over a period of time and how we become more of a consumer type, I guess, mentality. We go to the grocery store, buy all our stuff, and of course with that they need to extend the shelf life of different things. And they remove certain things, they add certain things to our food. It's a big part of the reason we grind our own wheat, make our own bread, because what they do is they remove the wheat germ. As soon as you grind that wheat, it will spoil rather quickly. Usually a loaf of bread will last us 3-4 days and then it'll start molding. So what they do is they remove the wheat germ, but of course that's where all the nutrition is. And then a lot of people started having malnutrition things. So then along came things like Wonder Bread, where they introduced vitamins and minerals back into it. And you see it all the time. You see, like, now with extra calcium, now with this and that. It's kind of like this man-made problem, and then we just slap another band-aid on top of another one and not really resolve the type of problems. And with this diet, you're eating whole foods. There's something to come out of that, I guess, in some ways. So if you're thinking about something like that, maybe you're someone that struggles with a little bit of a cloudy head, struggle with a little anxiety or depression, this might be something to try it. There's definitely some challenges in trying to put together menu items and stuff like that, but I feel like we've gotten pretty creative and come up with some pretty good ideas. If there's interest or something, maybe we'll share a few of those different things. That's not our intention to suddenly change the direction of this channel or set our main focus on something like that, but it's something that's going on in the background, and if there's interest, maybe we'll share some things with that and with the journey. And just thought I would kind of get your guys' wheels turned, especially as we're headed into the garden season. This is probably a good time of year to try something like that if you haven't done it before. So anyways, I'll wrap this video up here. Really appreciate all you guys that have come over to check out the channel. Really appreciate all you guys that have been sticking around with this, even though I've been a little bit flaky here on getting videos out. Just been a little slow here lately. But hoping to start ramping things up a little bit here as we start kind of getting into the summer months here and a lot of projects going on. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.